Live, and we're live. Welcome everyone who hasn't been here before, and welcome those who have. So for the next hour, we have ask any type of reselling question you want. And I thought for that, rather than it being just me, I thought I'd better get some experts in. Unfortunately, the reseller ladies were all busy. So I've got these three guys. So I've got Nic Hills over there.
Hello. Have I got to be an expert in something for this? I didn't know that was the case.
No, the thing is, we probably get asked a question. We'll all have three different answers, but you know, got Tom below me with his muffs on, and we've got George Ross. So, any questions you have? I thought we'd really focus in on questions in the chat. So if you've got any, I know Damien's put one already. I find a lot of the time questions do get lost if you've got a guest on or if you're talking about a specific subject. But let's just see who's in the chat and say hello. So Lucy was first in. We've also got Nathan, DMH, Peter Ray. I'm going to whip through these because I really do want to get onto some questions. Damien's in. He's put a question in. Georgina, Richie, Leanne's in, and Richard. And I know Derek's in, Gary, loads of people in. So shall I get on to a question? Here we go, straight away. So this is from Chris Tyler, who I know has been on your quiz channel, Nic, I think. He says, can you send a GSP parcel with Hermes or any other delivery provider with a handwritten label, as a lot of people don't have printers? So I was thinking about this, and I don't think you can. I think if you are sending with Hermes or any other courier, you would actually either need a printer or you can go into Hermes and print in store. Is that kind of what you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Their system is based on barcodes. If the parcel doesn't have a barcode on, they can't scan it through their system at various points.
There is a couple. Parcel Force, you don't need a printer. They bring the label. And also DX, I think that's what they're called, DX. They also bring the label to your door to pick it up. But if you're dropping off at a shop, Hermes have their in-shop one you can do.
The in-store one. I mean, it is very easy to use, and you can either pay contactless or you can actually, if my local one, the contactless was a bit dodgy, so you can put the card in the machine and use it. So that's very easy to use. You go along with the GSP address, or just have it on your phone when you get in there and look it up and put all that in. But
I've shared the link on our Facebook, so hopefully people will see that and come over.
Cool.
I'm trying to anyway, so if I'm a bit distant, it's because I'm trying to figure out the tech.
No worries. So hopefully that's answered that question. Now, Tom got away lightly there, but there is a specific question for Tom. Okay.
Uh-oh.
This is from Matt's Car Boot Discs. Okay.
I didn't do it.
It's about Amazon, surprisingly. And he says that he sells on Amazon in a small way, usually 1K of items in FBA, which I think is like absolutely...
That's quite decent.
Pretty decent. I've got about 12, I think. So he knows you have a huge inventory. Recently, Amazon said they weren't accepting FBA shipments. So he listed all his hoarded Q4 stock as merchant fulfilled. And he sold more than he'd ever had at Christmas. Did you list merchant fulfilled during this time? And did much of your FBA stuff still get fulfilled, or were there FBA orders that didn't get fulfilled that sort of fell in a hole?
Yes is the answer.
Yeah, you did do a lot of FBM, didn't you?
Yeah, but no, that's it. Yes.
Just yes.
Yeah, just yes. No, just joking aside. No, it was a major crisis point for me because it was like I'd got like 8 boxes or so to go to FBA. It was all stuff which I'd prepped ready to go, and it was like, I can't send it in. So what I had to do is I had to just take all of them, and I went through all to see what I could do merchant fulfill and just list it like crazy. It was a mad time. I mean, I sold way more than any Christmas I've ever done merchant fulfilled. It was ridiculous.
It was absolutely crazy, wasn't it?
It made me appreciate FBA actually, because I'm not used to that level of packaging. You know, I got through like 500 bubble mailers in 2 weeks. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I did, and then the FBA stuff just didn't sell because it was giving out lead times of like 3 weeks for prime orders. So there's just nobody bought anything. So if I'd have relied on FBA, I would have been screwed, well and truly. So I had to. I took it and I looked at merchant price and eBay and just weighed up the options and what was easier to list and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. When I had a load of like board games I listed, and I was thinking about doing them Amazon, but I actually put them on eBay, but at an FBA price. And I would say like probably 2/3 of those went just because the demand for stuff went up. It was absolutely crazy, sort of during lockdown. But I mean, George,
frustrating more than anything. Yeah. I got 3,500 items just sat there doing nothing.
Yeah,
helping.
That's such a crazy amount of items. And Matt was also asking, do you think that Amazon should refund us our FBA fees? Now, of course, I don't think they're going to do that, are they?
Probably secretly double them just to spite us.
Probably. Right, here's one from Damien that he put in earlier that we can all answer. He says, picking from all of the YouTube resellers that we know, if you could swap your business for theirs, like the inventory, the setup, the storage location, who would you choose and why? Now, this is a kind of like very open, it's not kind of advice or anything like that, which I thought people might be after here, but it's a kind of like, oh my God, you know, you've got a gun to your head, you've got to swap. And now, do we have to swap? Because I'm pretty comfortable with my own stuff, to be honest. I don't know if I'd actually want to swap anyone. But George, you know, who would you swap with? You got any?
Off the top of my head, probably Lonnie, Garage Flips in America.
Right.
He's got his own shed on his own land, so obviously he's paid out for it, but it's rent free now. He's got a guy. His guy gets all his high figurines from. Loads of like yard sales, loads of thrift stores. Yeah, and he just turns over the stuff like every day. And then there's Craig. Pete. Yeah, I'm not interested in a shop, so I wouldn't swap with him. I'm just trying to think who else. That's probably it, really. So I like my storage unit, but obviously I've got to pay for it every month, and I've got to go to and from. Yeah.
I mean, I don't look at. I do look at Craigslist Hunt. I look at Pete, and I love his channel, but I don't think I'd want to do what he does. And it was weird because I was thinking, you know, probably Tom does a lot of Amazon, which I'd like to do more of. I know, George, you do a lot of like electricals and higher end stuff, which I would also, you know, I pick up when I can, but, you know, I'd like to do more of that. But I do have my storage at home, so I love that. So I don't think I'd ever want to store my stuff, you know, in a storage unit. So I'm quite comfortable with how I am, really. You know, there's little things I see from other resellers that I'd quite like. Like Z's got his RC kind of massive stuff behind him, and Nick, you've got your car parts, and that's quite appealing, being able to get a massive haul and sort of have that in the background. But Nick, is there anyone you kind of would swap with?
Yeah, George kind of stole my answer. And this, I mean, Lonnie came into my head because his setup just works. Like you say, it's on his own land. He's got a really nice shed, which is separate from the house, kind of similar size to what I've got here, but a little bit larger. Yeah. Also, he's in one of the southern states of America. We've been there. It's a wonderful place to live. He's got it all going on. But as George took him, I think I'd probably say John Cincinnati Picker because of his location. If you've seen any of his picking videos, it's like, oh my Lord, he rocks up to these houses. He's in quite an affluent area. And I know he does drive a fair way sometimes to get to these yard sales, but you rock up and the level and the quality of goods he's able to pick up. He, you know, fills his car at one stall, you know, with amazing stuff. And yeah, his setup is next level. And he used to have like an auction business, and he sold that, and he now basically resells similar to what we do. But his ability to source where he is just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
That's something I get sort of quite envious about other people in the UK, sort of in other areas, because I'm sort of London based, and charity shop hunting is expensive compared to sort of other areas of the country. So I always kind of there's a lot of clothes resellers. It's sort of in Wales and based around that sort of area, and I think, oh, that'd be all right if all my charity shops sort of sold everything for like £1 or £2. But there you go. You've got to deal with what you dealt with, I suppose. But
it's interesting. I don't know if you've ever watched Joe Penny's.
Yeah.
He's based. I think it's fairly central London.
Yeah. And he picks up some cracking stuff.
He knows how to find the quality gear. I don't think he's making videos anymore. He maybe once in a blue moon, but when he was sharing some of his hauls, and he was, in central London, where you'd imagine the prices were really high, but
it's finding the little niche places, and he knows them, and he's got the experience to know what he's looking for. Okay, so we've got one from Diamond Geezer in the chat. How can you completely stop best offer?
Tom didn't answer that one.
Yeah, you missed me, Pete.
What's that? Oh, would you?
Yeah, I was gonna say your inventory, but now definitely not. I was actually thinking about Joe, just for this collection of Pokemon and Game & Watch stuff. I mean, that's insane. But my two are Bonafide Hustler and Will Terminal 99, just because the inventories are just, like Bonafide Hustler because of where it is. It's more casual, going out to get stuff going for dopios and that sort of thing. Nice laid back lifestyle. And Will, because he's got this insane inventory of like antiques and war memorabilia and stuff like that, which sort of falls into his lap. Crazy. So there's my two.
I don't know that one. Is he a US guy, or is he?
Yeah, he's a US guy. Yeah.
Yeah. All the US resellers seem quite sort of attractive with what they're doing. So.
Yeah, it's funny that we've all picked American resellers.
You wouldn't dare pick another UK one. Diamond Geezer says, how can you completely stop best offer coming active even if you don't agree at the start of a listing? Well, to be honest, I don't know the answer to that. Whenever I list, I always check a tick box to say whether I'm going to accept it or not. I don't have any parameters on whether I'm going to auto refuse or auto accept. I leave that open so I can make the decision. It's possible that if you've done a listing and ticked it, when you do your next listing, it might still be ticked. You might, so maybe if you create a listing and make sure it's unticked. But I don't know the specific answer to that. You got any ideas on that? So
I think that's a personal account. I don't know if he has got a personal business account, but I think sometimes personal accounts, they do automatically switch it on.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
90% sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yorkshire Reseller says, has anyone signed up to the eBay managed payments?
No.
I signed up, put my name down, but I'm not going to do it now.
Yeah, no, I always leave these things as long as possible so I can see everyone else have nightmares with them.
Yeah, we took that view that there's going to be teething problems, there's going to be issues, and I'm sure there'll be things that they want to change. So I'd rather, because it's dealing with your money coming in and out, and it's like I'd rather they iron out all the issues before I put my finances in their hands. So we're not signing up until we have to.
Yeah. Lucy says that in the chat. Too many glitches with it at the moment.
No,
so it'd be interesting to see what happens with that. Reseller Kid, I think is he the young guy who had a bit of trouble with eBay? But check out his channel, I think. But he says, where's the best place to get cheap bubble wrap? Well, I order mine on Amazon, to be honest. A big roll of big bubble wrap costs about 20 quid. You could probably hunt around for it at garden centres if you want to try and get it free. But I always order it on Amazon.
Yeah, I've found a local guy who has a shop. I haven't been there for a while, actually. He's got like a kind of knickknacks shop, you know, a kind of boutique-y place, and everything comes bubble wrapped to death. So I was picking it up from him and doing him a favor. He had to pay to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hunt around in your local town, I would say. You're bound to find somebody who would be willing to just give it to you.
TK Maxx is, well, when it's open, I don't know if it's open, but TK Maxx is quite good for that if you ask. I used to get loads of shoe boxes and bubble wrap. And
yeah, kind of packing materials always go to like garden centres, and it's a good idea to sort of go on maybe a Friday sort of early afternoon, because they tend to be putting stuff out for the weekend. So garden centres or DIY stores will always have a look, and ask, of course, and well, not at the moment, but supermarkets is also another good place. Yeah, right. I've got Funky UK, which is Neil. He sent in a question. Any opinions on offering free returns? He says he doesn't get many remorse items, but if I offer free returns, am I able to charge a handling fee? Now, I don't do free returns. I don't offer it. No. I think it's one of those things that eBay would like you to do, like free postage and
white background.
White background, 1 day dispatch, but it doesn't actually make a great difference to sales. So I don't offer it because I like the flexibility on, you know, if someone is offering a return that, you know, they've got to pay for it if it's a change of mind or it doesn't fit. So that's what I do. Do anyone else offer free returns?
No.
No. Okay. Right.
I do on Amazon because you don't get a choice.
Because you have to. Derek says, where does each of us want to be in your? Also, where do you each want your reselling to be in 5 years' time? In terms of storage, it sounds like an interview question, that one. Where do you see yourself in 3 years or 5 years' time? Storage, type of inventory, or more or less the same? You know, I don't think that far ahead, to be honest.
Shall I go first on that?
Yeah, go, Nick.
We've been asked that sort of question many times, and we've always kind of gone with the flow and been open for our business to take us off in multiple directions, and it has done over the years. And to be honest, if I could pick and choose, I'd just like this tiny little Depeche Mode channel I started. I'd love that to blow up, and I'll do that full time, please. I just make videos about what I'm passionate about. Forget reselling. If I could make money another way that didn't involve filling my house with junk,
yeah,
please. So I'm not tied to this, but if I knew I was going to stick with reselling, I wouldn't change much. This is at a level where we want it, and we keep it at a level. We're not trying to expand our reselling because we don't have to. But I know other people are in different situations and have got lots of ambitions, and you should have. But we've kind of feel like we've been there and done that. So we're trying to keep it small.
Here's a question. How about if your channel got to 1 million subs and you were suddenly getting 200,000-300,000 of video, and suddenly that's a full time, but it's still about reselling? How would you balance that?
Well, that's a tricky one, because I mean, if the channel got to a point where it's providing the income we need, and I don't have to resell, do I just resell to provide content?
That's what I mean. If it's about reselling,
that's an interesting one. Is it one of the US ones? Yeah, he's not reselling anymore, but he still has a reselling channel. I forget which one it is.
Steve Rakin.
Yeah, Rakin Profit. Yeah,
he kind of dabbles in the reselling, but he's more of a YouTuber.
Guru now.
Yeah,
but that's an interesting one. I suppose it's difficult because
if you've got subs but no views, you're still not getting paid. That's the balancing act sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, have you found that you're doing your YouTube has sort of impacted on your reselling? You know, in terms of taking up time, you know, that you think you could spend in reselling, or has it made? For me, it's made me more focused, to be honest, on because I have to show what I've done basically. So, but you know, I always was a bit worried that YouTube might be a bit of a waste of time. And distract me from actually doing the proper work of reselling, but it's been the complete opposite.
Was that aimed for me, or
well, and all of you really? I mean, what's it given you really that you having a YouTube channel?
Who wants to?
I'm trying to
Talking
think.
to three weirdos on a Wednesday evening.
I've always been creative. I've liked making videos and stuff anyway. Plus, I'm all right at this and sort of put them together, and it sort of worked out, and it makes me do my work.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like doing the picking videos, I'm having a rest from that because I just want to go and pick and wrap. Whereas I got to put the batteries in, turn them on, do an intro, pick them, talk about them, have a red mark on my head. But I'm waiting for the boot sales really. I enjoy them ones. But just put them on, see what people are up to and stuff.
I mean, I like doing working YouTube videos, but it does mean it takes longer to do any work at all. Like I list on a Monday morning, and if I wasn't I feel like I have to talk to the stream, even though I probably don't. But and doing all of that and trying to work at the same time is very, very difficult. So
mention the picking orders videos, George, because I get asked for those more than any sort of video. But you're right. Some mornings it's like, okay, I've got a load of things to ship, and the last thing you want to do is charge your GoPro, set it all up, and it's like.
I enjoy it, but because of lockdown, there's not much else to film because it's hard to make it interesting. I literally get up, get dressed, go to my unit, wrap, sit there. Yeah, got to try and make that entertaining. I bore myself, even though people enjoy it. So, yeah,
it's difficult.
Going back to your question about what do we get out of YouTube? For me, it was initially a place to talk about what I enjoy and what I do. It was as simple as that. And then once I grew an audience, that was just so exciting. It's like other people do this and they're interested. But it has, 6 years later, it has become part of our business financially.
Yeah.
And that changes things a little bit, but not a great deal. There's that kind of motivation to make the videos, if you like, now that wasn't there before, the financial motivation, because for most of that time, it wasn't a waste of my time because I was getting the social aspect out of it, the friendship aspect, the advice and the feedback and all of that, which was what keeps you going when you're maybe not earning money out of it. But that is all still there and as relevant as the money.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, obviously, I'm doing it at the moment and not getting any money for it. But, it's been a really positive. I've only been doing it 6 months, but it's been a really positive thing. And I don't, ever think I'll earn a great deal. The majority of people don't earn a great deal of money for it. But I don't think it would actually change what you get from it in terms of, all those things that people say, like the community and advice, and holding yourself accountable for the work that you're doing as well. So, but yeah,
I know what you mean about sharing it. For me, it was that I was sick of family sort of rolling their eyes about, oh God, what's he bought now? And it was just someone to
roll your eyes.
Yeah, now I can't see the people rolling their eyes, so I just bore them to tears and go, oh, I did a good job, switch it off, and then that's it. But no, the accountability, that's something I need to work on. I need to be more accountable to it, really. So going forward, that's something I'm going to concentrate on.
Reseller Bob's put a question in the chat. Have any of us bought pallet returns or mystery stock, and is it worth it in the end? I'm assuming he means you can get Amazon returns and Argos, return things. I've never bought one. I have kind of thought about it, but I've never actually gone ahead with it. So, have you ever done that, Tom?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I bought Argos game, Amazon returns. It's cool. It's exciting. It's a treasure hunt, but it's a lot of bloody work. Yeah. You've got to be good. You've got to be good with fixing things as well, because fixing and testing things, because you think something's perfect, you think great, oh, that's just been returned and someone's changed their mind. You ship it off to a customer, and it's the one thing, the one little button that you didn't test ends up being faulty. So you've really got to be proper thorough. But I mean, the Amazon ones, some of them were just nuts. The stuff you'd find, there's a good channel to look at that, which is called Franchise Kicks. He does return pallets. But what he doesn't tell you is he knows what's in the box before he gets it, because it's all manifested all Amazon. It's a myth that there's Amazon pallets that you can buy that you don't know what's in them. Everyone that I've ever known has got a list of what's in there. So the companies know what's in there because Amazon provides it because they know what they're destroying and getting rid of.
Yeah.
So you're not really going to find ones where it's a complete mystery. Sometimes you get ones and you think, oh, this is going to be great. And you open up something that looks valuable and someone's done the switcheroo and it's actually like something different that they've returned.
Yeah.
They've scammed Amazon. So
yeah, you get their faulty widget and they've kept the brand new widget. Yeah.
So, there's a gambler's high and there's potential for good money, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend anyone do that exclusively unless you sell at the car boots regularly. You're good at fixing things, you're good at testing things.
Yeah, cool. Mr. Blobby says, has anyone thought of dabbling into Shopify or Facebook and Instagram shops? He also heard TikTok shops are coming soon.
Whoa.
Everyone, look at it, all this stuff we don't know about.
TikTok, I thought TikTok was just people dancing around being idiots. How are they going to incorporate a shop into that?
I've no idea. I haven't even looked at TikTok.
But seriously, and Andrea has set up a Facebook shop and is experimenting with that. She's not promoted it at all, and she's already got a shed load of followers on her shop. She doesn't know how. So that's positive.
I was one. It did flash up on my Facebook because I'm a friend. It said Andrea's made something or other, and then I could like it.
Oh, so her contacts are being notified whether she knows it or not. Okay, interesting. I'm actually quite intrigued as to how Facebook are going to continue with this. I think they've used lockdown to kind of surreptitiously appear in this market and take it seriously. It seems so. eBay are going to be quaking a bit, I think.
Oh, here you go, Nick. This is what came up. If it can focus, that came up for me.
Account that you follow on Instagram. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because what I hope with the shops is that it's a bit more professional. Because like marketplace is like a Wild West, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if it can be a bit more like the barrier to entry to get into it is a little bit higher, I'm up for that.
Yeah, that's the one I check out, I think, the Facebook one.
I've seen people's response to the shops coming up. Mark Zuckerberg put a post out and it had obviously millions of people on it and commenting. And a lot of people were just saying, put some sort of safeguards in place and we might think about buying and selling on there. It's completely the Wild West still, as opposed to eBay, where we all know there's obvious issues, but you are protected. You're protected through PayPal and through eBay to a certain extent. As a buyer, certainly. As a seller, meh. But Facebook kind of hasn't implemented any of those safeguards, and it's Facebook Marketplace is where all the dodgy knockoff gear goes, right? Or am I wrong?
No, you're right.
I've done Facebook since I started full time in 2016. I always had my page, just put the cool stuff on there. Every now and then I'd get a sale, so like no fees unless they pay with PayPal. But yeah, they've done this Facebook shop and Instagram shop. It's starting to roll out now, but it's going to be a sort of click, buy and pay on Facebook, and then that's it. But yeah, they haven't rolled it out fully yet, but I'm still pushing that.
So all of your sales on Facebook have to be through PayPal. Is that how you sort of go about it?
In the past, people just sort of comment or message me like, "Oh, is this available? Can I buy it?" And then I just ask them like, do you want to pay PayPal, bank transfer, whatever?
Because I've wondered that, because I've got some stuff I could sell on sort of specialist groups. But I kind of think, well, if I, say I'll sell something for £100 and it goes to, someone and they pay via PayPal, what's the risk that they might just put in a PayPal return? I suppose they'd have to return the item just like they would with eBay. But
it's basically the same,
You're covered with PayPal's basic, their setup of kind of insurances that they give. I've certainly used specialist buying and selling groups on Facebook. Not a lot, but I've done well when I've dabbled in it.
Yeah.
And there's gaming
with the gaming groups,
gaming groups I've dabbled in, but that was tricky.
But people are vicious.
I had a load of crafting gear it was so slow on eBay, and
I remember that.
It was Karen Sells Clothes, I think she's called now. but back then it was Karen Crafts and whatever.
That's
and
right.
she used to run a crafting business, and she said, well, I know a couple of groups. She gave me the links. I posted all of these little crafting boxes on there, and I sold everything within a few days, and I'd literally had them on eBay for a year or more.
Oh, wow.
And
Crazy.
because you're putting your stuff in front of the people who are on there actively looking for it and crafting, it was like night and day. And I don't know why I've not really used that more, but I should do.
Right, Shazad. Now, we all know Shazad is big time. He's always posting his numbers in. He's asking, what's the biggest bottleneck in your business? Is it capital, sourcing opportunities, capacity throughout, or throughput? I don't know if that's supposed to say how many items you can pick, pack, so, resource, I guess, or is it general process? I suppose that could mean, do we have an actual process, or is it all a bit kind of like, see how it goes? Now, I think out of those four, for me, it would be sourcing opportunities. The number of times I've gone out, I have things like a boot fair where I know I can get loads of stuff, but whenever I try and do charity shops or retail arbitrage, I don't get as much. Now, I think it's probably down to me needing to find out more knowledge about getting hauls or doing sniping or using Facebook Marketplace more. But that's probably something I could improve on. My process is pretty good, and my kind of capacity for doing the work, I think I'm sort of like fairly efficient in what I do. So, I mean, have you got a bottleneck in your business, Nick, that you kind of think you could improve?
Yeah, I've always had a bottleneck in my business. For us, sourcing has never been the problem. We have to stop ourselves sourcing, which has been kind of a godsend in the last couple of months, obviously.
Yeah.
The bottleneck for me, and even more so with Andrea, is getting the stuff listed. And it's being efficient and being, having the process and the efficiencies within listing. That's always been the issue, being distracted, having 101 other things that we'd rather do. So that's the very obvious bottleneck in my business.
Yeah, listing can get a bit boring, can't it? But it's got to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, and sourcing, as I said, for us, and I know it's different for other people, but for us, never being the issue. When boot sales are on, we could, if we wanted to, fill our car up 2 or 3 times a weekend.
Yeah.
So that being available just creates the backlog that most people know from our channel, I
mean, with me, I think it's probably the same with you, George. I boot fairs is one I know I can source that and get loads and loads of stuff. And I mean, I've been doing it 3 years now, so I kind of had, when you first start, reselling, it's really difficult because you don't have much stuff and you kind of forget what it's like right at the start. But over the 3-year period, I mean, I've got newer stuff and older stuff, and you do get this kind of massive stuff behind you, but you still rely on that make hay while the sun shines of the boot fair season. And when lockdown happened, it's like, oh my god, I was waiting for this moment. So.
Yeah.
But would you, George, have you got a bottleneck in your business?
I'd say pre-April, when Amy was full-time, I'd try and do this full-time, house, kids, I was juggling all that, so it was my time.
Yeah.
But now I'm the sole income earner. Amy's starting her own business, hopefully starting Monday, which is quite cool. But obviously now it's more capital, I'd say, because I've got to pay for everything now while trying to invest and lockdown. So probably that, and then just as much as my little body can do, really, like listing, packing, videos, editing. So probably.
It's all on you. I mean, how much time would you say you sort of spend a week? When you think of a job, it's normally like 35 or 38 hours a week. How much time do you spend doing what is your job? Is it?
It's quite hard now because obviously I've got to be a teacher at the moment as well. But the aim, if they're at school, is literally get at the unit at 9, stay there till 5 or 6. But then if there's a video to edit, that's technically work. Listing in the evening, that's work. I have no idea.
It's crazy, isn't it? It just fills up all your available time. You do have to
much.
You have to make time for yourself, definitely.
Probably, I don't know. I couldn't even say.
I think if you put the time on it, you'd be shocked, probably, wouldn't you? Have you got a bottleneck, Tom, in your business, or?
I mean, I think the main one is time management, but that's always been my case with anything. Is that obviously, you know, it's the suppression of relentless hoarding issues and not being able to list quick enough. I always have this sort of thought and fantasy that if I was like Drew Pritchard and had this team of people that could list for me, that it would be spectacular. But yeah, sourcing is not the issue at all. It never has been. I don't think it ever will be. I think it's just managing my time better, because what I end up doing is I pull stuff out. I say I come home from the boot sale, I'll bring it all home, I lay it all out. Look at this. I'll research this. Don't list it. Oh, research that. Oh, that's interesting. Or I'll clean these bits. I'll test this, and then I'm like, oh, I've got to put it away again now.
Yeah,
and then I put it away again, and then I can't remember which bits I've tested.
Yeah,
and then I pull it out again. So I'm doing the same thing again and again.
I know, I do that. I go around my garage like it's like a supermarket sweep. I'll get all excited and I'll just grab a load of things and bring them in, and then 2 days later, because I want to tidy up, it goes back out again.
Yeah, that's why these are key to my business. You'll see all of my board games have a little thing, 100% complete or missing one what's it card, or on a stereo it'll say tested, working, and a date or whatever. But I'm the same. The amount of times I've retested a Walkman or something, and then okay, it does work, good. I put it back on the shelf, and a week later, did I test that? I can't remember.
I've just tested a load of like PlayStation controllers that honestly have been hanging around for about 2 years, and I've tested them but never put a label on them. So I've actually put a label on them this time. So
yeah.
Retro Limit says, what are our thoughts on eBay restrictions when signing up to managed payments? Well, none of us have signed up to managed payments, and he mentions adult video games and motor cars, because I think motor cars you can't do via managed payments, from what I've heard.
That's what put me off. I signed up, like I said, and I'm not going to now because you can't list coins like paper money, like collectible. Yeah, what was it?
I'm definitely not doing it then.
You can't do precious metals.
There's loads of stuff you can't do, isn't there?
It's quite a list. You need to look up to them. Yeah,
that looks out. That's like all jewelry and stuff. So that's going to be a big issue for people like Lex and Karen and all the seller ladies.
Does anyone know why? Is it something they just not got in place yet? Is it to do with money laundering and that sort of stuff? I assume, and that
maybe.
I think it's because obviously it's called eBay Managed Payments, but I think they're using what was it called, Aiden or something. There's a company, and I think they're probably high risk items like scamming, like event tickets and stuff. But they might roll it out in the future. But as of now, you can't list any of that stuff on managed payments.
Right.
So you have to just accept PayPal for those. Then you just have to go revert back to that.
I don't know if you get the choice of going to and from. I'm not sure.
I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm sure eBay aren't going to stop motor cars being sold on eBay, because it must be such a moneymaker.
I was just going to say that.
They can't stop jewelry and cars and adult video games or whatever. I mean, I
was trying to find a list here.
That's a huge market, that.
Anyway, the reseller kid has asked a question. Do you think it's possible for resellers to make money at car boot sales? I think a lot of the time resellers will use car boot sales to clear just a lot of stock, and that you might well be donating. So, Nick, you've done boot sales, haven't you?
Nick's the boot sale bandit.
Yeah, we use them to clear out. We don't necessarily try and make money on what we're taking. We try and get our money back most of the time. We also sell our own stuff at car boot sales, clear out our own gear, at the same time, and get some cash for that. But we tend to use them for the dregs of hauls. If you buy big hauls, you'll get a load of stuff that's not worth your time and effort, or it's got issues that don't mean it's not saleable, but you don't really want to deal with it on eBay, right? So that's what we kind of use boot sales for. And we go with the intent to not bring it home. So we will. We've made a couple of videos actually, and a lot of comments were, "You could have got more for that. You undersold this. You undersold that." And I don't think they were grasping the idea. It was to get rid of it, get the pound or two we invested in it back, and let someone else deal with it. So we're happy to just blow out and get rid.
Yeah, it's such a nice feeling. I mean, I've had stuff that we've either ended up dumping because it hasn't worked, or given to the charity shop because it just is not selling. And to be to clear stuff out, that feeling is fantastic, and kind of start again. You don't think about the money or whatever, because it probably didn't cost you much anyway. So, have you done boot fairs, George, selling or?
Yeah, we do 1 or 2 a year, and I do say in my videos sometimes, like, the space is worth more than whatever that cash value is. Like, especially like coats, like once you're in summer, just slow things, just get rid. It's worth, or it feels better than a sale on slow moving items. Just getting rid of it, just sell it for £1, £2, 50p, or donate it completely. Like, just charity shop, get out of my face.
I favour donating stuff personally, because I do car boot sales, but I just can't seem to make money on them. I might make a little bit, but it's like people seem to like walk along and then they'll go like that round my stall and then onto. It's like, what? Like, have I not put deodorant on today or something? Because I swear people are like intentionally avoiding me.
I've never sold at one, but it must be so weird being the other side of the coin and having people sort of haggling, and you say something's £2 and they're going, "Oh, would you take £1?" It's like, oh no, that's me. That
as well. Because I'd rather be walking around, so I'm seeing people walk by with like a Mega Drive or something. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, that's the problem when I go. Generally, it'll be Andrew and I, sometimes Ellen, and I just sneak off and start filling the back of the car with other stuff. It's really difficult.
Take the table out, get the boxes out. Right, see ya.
That's one of the benefits of selling. You can get in there, and if you've got someone else with you, have a quick squeeze around.
Exactly. Top tip: if you do go to sell at the car boot sale, and for 2 reasons, do this, which is park your car up and just leave it locked and go, because you're in there super early, sometimes before the buyers, obviously. And you can get to the stalls quick. Plus, if you leave it long enough, all of the dealers that come around and hassle you, try and climb in the back of the car and all of this stuff, you avoid most of that as well. So that's what we tend to do.
Yeah.
Right, Andy Hobbs has asked, do you think there's a big financial benefit to reselling, in the sense that we are so used to paying peanuts for bargains that you hardly use normal shops and pay full price for anything anymore? I don't really think that's reselling. I think that's kind of just how I am a lot of the time. I probably have got more used to sort of just, I can't imagine buying a pair of jeans new or a T-shirt new, because I get so much sort of stock sourced that you can go through it. But I know what you mean. I've always been a bit like that, but I've probably gone even more like that. If I'm thinking of getting something, I think I can probably source it somewhere along the line.
But have you seen how much furniture is? It's ridiculous, brand new.
Well, it's
if we want a new sofa, and we'll just go on eBay and Facebook, find a nice clean one, pay like 1/8 of the price, if that.
Yeah,
I think it's a mental attitude, and I come from a background of a family of thrifters. Didn't have a great deal, so we made the most out of what we had. And Mum and Dad would go to boot sales and jumble sales, and so I never had an aversion to secondhand. I didn't have a choice, right? So it was part of me anyway. And my grandfather was a thrifter and a hoarder, and all of those things rolled into one. So it's just been part of me since day one, and reselling is just kind of making money out of my tendencies, essentially.
I actually favour like clothes, like jackets and stuff that have been broke in, like have been worn in, so they're not all rigid, or that kind of thing.
Not too much, but just enough.
Not too much. Just
battered.
I like used socks as well, with loads of holes. That's my favourite.
Used pants.
Whoa! No, this is getting weird now.
Okay, RJ, let's move on. RJ, if you couldn't resell anymore, what job would you do? That's tricky, that one.
Well, I mentioned mine. I'd just make videos about bands that I like. Imagine earning a fortune making videos about bands. I'm attempting it right now, but I've got like 40 subscribers.
Yeah, I'd start a quiz channel. I mean, I used to work in human resources. I used to and I wouldn't want to go back to what I did. As to what I do, I really don't know. That's a really tough one. When I gave up my sort of my job, I did go and do some charity work, and that was quite good. I did that for about a year, which was at a local sort of stable, horse riding stables for the disabled. So I might go and do that while I'm thinking about what to actually do for money, but I really don't know what I do for money. Got no idea. Become a rock star or something.
I haven't got any other skills or talent, so just whoever would give me a job if it was for money. Yeah.
Yeah, the thought of actually going back to like an actual job is a bit scary, really.
I went to college and done like sport and exercise science because I wanted to be a PE teacher, but I didn't want to go to uni. Then Amy got pregnant when I was 18. And that was it. Yeah. And now I'm here. So just hopefully this works.
Well, sometimes necessity is what makes things happen. I think you're a great example of that, George. You make it work because you have to, right? And sometimes necessity is exactly that, the mother of invention, and you just create and make the business work, and that's all we've done.
It certainly focuses the mind if you have to make the money, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah. Have to find a way, and you hustle. It's that old word. It's like, okay, I've got to make this work. I mean, when we started, we'd just had a baby. I'd quit my job. Andrea left Amazon to have Ellen, and she decided, I'm not going back either. We have to pay rent. We have to do this. So it was like, yeah, you work as hard as you have to, and you make it work. And that's been our life now for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Do you ever get sort of fed up with reselling? Sorry, Tom. Go on, you go.
No, I was just going to say, it depends whether you're asking whether you have a job for necessity's sake, or if you suddenly reselling wasn't there, and what would you like to do? That's what, like you said, there's those two, I think. Yeah,
I mean, do you ever get fed up with the reselling? And just think, what am I doing?
Yeah, so I do sometimes when you've got like a torrent of returns. I did after all this craziness where there was loads of people returning stuff due to change of mind, and you knew full well that they like bought a computer game, they played on it, they were just sending it back, and I was just like, why am I doing this to myself? Do I want to be 65 years old still listing Mario Kart on Amazon? I did think, should I try and set up something that's got like a legacy rather than that? And then things like that have crossed my mind, but then I go and make tat angels in my storage and feel all better again.
Well, that's it. You remind yourself of, I always remind myself of the freedom it gives me, and the fact that, if I want to stop for, a day or a week and spend time with the kids and the family, I've got the freedom to do that without thinking I'm letting anyone down or, anyone's looking at that. So, it's strange.
I was going to say the enthusiasm certainly comes in waves. I mean, we've been doing this so long, and yeah, it does get repetitive. But like you said, you are reminded of the freedom it gives you, and the variety. Certainly, the way I choose to do this, the variety of the stuff we pick up and the deals we do, that keeps it interesting. And it's got that kind of the hunt aspect, searching for the next deal and all of that stuff. So,
do you find that YouTube has helped?
What's that?
I was just going to say, do you find that YouTube has helped? Because I think certainly I might have packed it in or changed it if I hadn't got YouTube, because I'd just be going mental in my own space, in my own thoughts, stuck in a room, going crazy. Kind of.
I think it probably has helped. It's certainly given me a social outlet that I never had before, and a large percentage of my social life is through what's been created through YouTube now, and we never saw that coming. And the fact that it revolves around what we do for a living is fantastic. It really, really is. So yeah, I think I would have carried on anyway.
Because people I talk to think this whole community is weird outside of reselling. It's like, what, you're talking to your competitors about what you do? It's like, well, yeah, well, that's because they understand what we're doing. And some people I talk to just do not get it at all. It's really strange.
And there's always been that element of the community that would rather we weren't talking about it, right? And it's still there. It's a lot quieter than it was a while back.
Yeah, it used to be very vocal. Yeah,
a while when there was a torrent of abuse and hate for what we were doing. But I think people have accepted that in the information age and social media sharing, it's not going away. People talk about every aspect of their lives now, constantly. Yeah. It's part of the 21st century. Deal with it. And reselling was always going to become part of that information social media revolution. We just happen to be part of it. And
yeah, I mean, it happens everywhere, and you know, people get to know stuff, and it's not that anyone's giving away any kind of secrets or anything. You know, it is just there, and it's silly to think there's all these individual people who know all their individual bits, but you know, you pick up the knowledge that is out there. So either from talking to people or just doing the research. So, what's the time now? Probably got about 10 minutes left because I don't want to overlap into Peter Ray, who's live after us. But Ryan asks a real kind of specific question about CDs. And has anyone ever dealt with CDs, reselling, I guess that is? And is there enough margin in them? The only time I ever buy CDs is if I want a CD for me. I don't think I've ever resold a CD, but I know Nick has, and I don't know whether Tom has. You did.
I did. So, I did before Amazon gated me in them.
Okay. So, what's the margin like on CDs? I guess it's not a lot.
Most terrible. But buying and selling CDs is in my blood. The first business I ever set up was a secondhand record shop, and vinyl wasn't really a thing in the late 90s, so it was all CDs. And I still buy CDs, but it's getting tough. You have to have that bit of knowledge to know what you're picking up, certain genres, certain bands, etc. But honestly, 99% of CDs are not worth the time and effort. You have to bundle them up. You have to have something specific or something collectible. Condition is a big issue. It's a minefield. It's the same with DVDs. When we started on eBay in the late 90s, half probably of all of our business was CDs and not DVDs, videos even then. And then DVDs came in. But now it's a tiny percentage of what we do because the big guys have killed it for everybody else. And people aren't buying them. People are getting rid of them. So it's a seller's market rather than it's a buyer's market rather than a seller's market because everyone's getting shot of their CDs. So the value has just gone.
You wonder whether it's one of those things like vinyl, you know, LPs though, because, you know, 15, 20 years ago, you pick them up for 50p in a charity shop, and now they're 20 quid in a charity shop, you know, some vinyl.
A certain generation, 10 years down the line, will go, I want to get my CD collection.
So should you get all the classic, you know, just go around, you know, sourcing all the classics really cheap and make sure that, you know, they're not scratched or anything and pug them away for 20 years. So it's possible.
So. But my tip, and I've said it a few times, will be CD singles. More so than the albums. I think people will start collecting certain CD singles and certain bands. I do it myself. So I've seen that resurgence happen in me and in others. And within certain communities that I'm in of certain bands, there's a real passion coming in for CD singles that was never there. They were seen as throwaway and rubbish. It was all about the vinyl. But
I suppose they would be rarer as well because an album would be producing greater numbers, but as you know, a single would be a limited run and only for a certain sort of time as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got some singles that are worth £20 easily, £30 in some instances.
Wow.
And I'm picking those up now, sniping them for £2 or £3.
Yeah.
Some for my collection, but some that I'm going to flip on to fund my collection. I'm doing that thing now.
What ones
are that's a great thing to do. Sorry, George, go on.
I was just seeing what ones Nick were flipping. I was just going to jot it down.
I don't share the secrets.
That's behind a paywall, George. You've got to pay for that information.
Yeah, buy my ebook, right?
The only CD I really do these days is audiobooks. because there can be some crazy good value in audiobooks, and you can do fantastic bundles. Because I sell them a lot to people who are traveling, like salespeople and stuff like that, who need something in the car to listen to.
Yeah. I mean, we have audiobooks
That's
in
great.
the car, roll dial things if we go on holiday. So, stick it in the CD and keeps them quiet. So, yeah, stuff like that does sell.
I wonder, though, if a lot of that market is going the kind of Amazon Kindle on your phone, streaming. Audible, yeah. I think they're trying to steal that market. So I don't know how long the demand for CD audiobooks will stay as high as it is now.
Yeah.
I think I'm the opposite to you, Free. In like a charity shop or boot sale, I might glance at the CDs and DVDs and look for an audiobook, and that's about it. Like, oh, that's nice. And then the shoes or games, whatever.
I remember it was the first thing when I first became full-time, I went into a charity shop, and I was so kind of used to going to charity shops and just going to the CDs because I was interested in them personally, that I kind of thought, yes, CDs, this will be a great thing to source. And then I soon realised that it's if they're charging £1 or £2 for a CD, there's no money in it at all. So, but of course there is probably the odd exception if you get a rarity. So,
or death metal or that kind of thing.
Death metal is great, holds its value. Absolutely.
I think we've got time for one more question. I'm going to pick this one from the Monocle, who was late to the party, but I don't know how many I'm missing after that. If there are any after that in the chat, I'll try and copy them into the comments and try and answer them myself. But he says, has lockdown made you double think about prices at boot sales? He says he used to be happy to pay more at auctions, but he felt he should be a bit tight at boot sales. And I know what he's saying. Like, I go around boot fairs and I am quite tight. And for me, I think now, if I'm going to go around a boot fair, I'm going to pay more because I really feel like the need to get stuff. So, I mean, there will obviously be a limit, but where I might be haggling for £2, I might go 3, 4, I don't know, or, but I think I will be potentially paying more just because I want some fresh stock in. But don't tell the people who have the stalls at the boot fairs. But do you think lockdown has affected on how much you're going to pay for stuff, George? Yeah, I know you're looking forward to the boot fairs.
Yeah, I've always said, even when I first started, I always pay up for the right thing, quality. Because say you got like a £50 camera in your hand, it's a £5. I'm like, people say in the comments, oh, you don't hardly haggle, but like, it's about paying a fair price. It depends what mood. But again, like, I've got a trainer's boots, man. I pay up a little bit, but there's still loads of meat on the bone. Like £10 trainers going for 30 after fees, like full time flipping them like that. That's a good margin, really. It's about being fair, really, especially if you're being upfront and honest. That's what I'm trying to do more this year, instead of hiding away. Oh, I'm a reseller. Don't tell anyone.
Well, getting those contacts and paying a little bit more and building that relationship, that is priceless, really, to know that you can always go back and get more stuff.
And I've got a hi-fi guy, like, just stacks of hi-fi, gives me a fair price. I paid a fair price. Everyone's happy, sort of thing. And
definitely
over,
Yeah. I also, in that time that you're haggling and beating someone down and annoying them, you've missed 2 other deals because you're pissing about trying to get the 50p. So
it's funny, and it's almost like it's like a it's like a Tourette's thing with me. Even if the price is good, it's like I have to offer a low. It's like I have to do it. It's like,
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Head. It's come out of my mouth before I've even thought about. Well, that's a bargain anyway. Just pay it, Nick.
Well, it'd be something like, you go to something and you go, oh, I'll pay £10 for that, and you go, how much is that? And they say £4, and you go, oh, would you take 2? And you go, what am I doing?
Exactly.
I get like a tightening in my chest or in my throat. Like, I can't say it. Will you take £2? What am I?
But it's funny as well because when I shouldn't haggle on certain things. And George, you're absolutely right. A fair price is a fair price. But sometimes it just comes out, and I film myself doing it. The flack I get on videos, rightfully so in some instances, it's hilarious.
Especially if it's like a bolo that you know is worth like mega amounts of money. It's like, oh no, I know I'm going to sell this for like 80 quid, and I've haggled from 2 to 1. This is ridiculous. But,
I think you're right, though. I think certain resellers who are kind of desperate for stock and have ploughed through all of their backlog, and they will be paying more than they did because of the necessity that they need stock in. Right? So it's a supply and demand thing. How much do you need that stuff? What are you prepared to pay? It's as simple as that, I think.
I mean, I haven't spent any money for, a couple of months. I was doing jumble sales to start the year, but they all kind of ended. And I feel the need.
I think it's great in a way. It's certainly been great for our business to dust off stuff literally from the loft, and then it flies out once you list it. And it's kind of a wake-up call to me that why is that stuff up there? It's just out of sight, out of mind, but it's just sat there not doing anything, not earning me any money. And it is, I'm in two minds about this. It is daft, but then again, we have benefited from having the backlog, right?
Yeah.
And I know Tom's the same. We really did benefit from this in this current situation.
Yeah. It's kind of like you like the efficiency of stuff coming in and going out quickly, but you also want that little bit just in case. Yeah,
but I think moving forwards, I realised that my backlog was way too big for the normal course of events. When else, touch wood, when are we going to be locked down for 2 months or 3 months, whatever, again?
Give it a couple of months, you never know. Right, I think I better end up there because I've gone 2 minutes into Peter Ray. I'm sure he's holding off going live. So thanks very much, Nick, George, and Tom for coming on. Amazing that you came on and took those questions. Let me know in the chat what you think in the comments, whether you like this sort of thing. I might do it sort of every month, or if people want it more often, might try and get some other people on. But do let me know. But for now, take care. Pop over to Peter Ray if you want to watch him. He's got lots of updates on his channel. He's doing a live. He has got a subject. He told me what it was, but I've got a brain like a sieve, so I can't remember. So can you remember what it was, Tom?
No idea. But make sure you subscribe to Pete's channel to get him to 1,000 subs.
Oh yeah. I'm also very bad at mentioning that. But for now, take care, and I'll see you all soon.
Cheers, Peter.